Hi, my name low quality content. Yes, you are super rare person, you need big damage. Big damage solved all problem, don't you agreed? In advanced giant tower, I've got 5 twin striker. They jumped, yelling take this big damage. Jumped again. When comes to boss room, they are scatter like a flies. One by one died, mission failed. They consume all revive quota. Is not big damage important, but the rolls. Moving on. Twin striker. The roll damage per second. You can also support party with the class ability Drain Fever. Can be easily set in the build and allows all members of the party to absorb HP when attacking. It's not difficult to earn chains in party. So it will contribute to your survival rate even if you don't think about it. The damage is high, but preparation is required to make optimal damage. The preparation mainly consists of the following 2 points. Increase combo gauge, max 120%. Use buff skills. When you play with Twin Striker, a gauge combo will appear. This gauge will go up as you hit enemies. And the max of this gauge is 120%. In other words, if you keep hitting the enemy, your attack power will increase by 20%. But maintaining this gauge at max is extremely difficult. The reason for this is ignition beta. The specifications of a normal combo gauge are as follows. If you do not attack for a while, the gauge will be reset about 20 seconds. If you are attacked multiple times in a short period of time, the gauge will be reset. Avoiding the above conditions is not very difficult. This is where the issue I mentioned earlier arises. This is the buff skill Ignition Beta. By using Ignition Beta, you can significantly increase the firepower of the next skill you use. However, the price is that the combo gauge will be reset. Therefore, if you explode the damage, you will need to refill the gauge again. If this flow goes smoothly, I think it can be said that the role DPS class in party has been fulfilled. In other words, Ignition Beta is essential. So it should be given top priority during the beta digging. I would also like to touch on how to deal with party during the enemy gathering phase. Fill up the combo gauge so that you do not get in the way of the enemy gathering. Use skills that require a lot of moves to increase the gauge. When the enemy gathers, prepare for a damage explosion. Skill, use War Cry. Super Armor stated, the skill will not be interrupted. Skill, use Ignition Beta. Detonator of explosive damage. Furthermore, if you have Blood Axe Beta, you can increase your damage output. Ignition has a long cooldown, so it is also possible to use it alternately with Blood Axe Beta. Combo gauge has reached 120%. Used buff skills. Once the above preparations are complete, rush into the enemy's dense area. The skill used is Drain Spiral. You may feel a sense of pleasure when you see a huge amount of damage being dealt continuously. If you can make this flow go smoothly, it will be fun to play as Twin Striker. By the way, the Drain Spiral consumes stamina. In other words, if you increase your maximum stamina, you can spin a little more. Therefore, we recommend increasing the stamina of Heavy Smasher shared class ability. Once you've finished spinning with the Drain Spiral, work hard to fill up your combo gauge and prepare for the next explosion. In general, Twin Striker role in the party just DPS. And you can move around freely. Class specific gauge, combo gauge. Beast Swing, normal attack. Grade 3, damage dealt up, small. Effect time, 20 seconds, damage multiplier 1.03 times. Grade 4 fire attribute resistance down. Small effect time, 30 seconds, damage multiplier 1.12 times. Left click and press up button, a fire-based thrust attack with a stagger effect. You can beat an opponent without resistance just by repeating this endlessly. Left and right, rotating slash with a wide range. It has a wide, almost circular area around itself. Attack and press down button, kick attack with self buff. It's a buff technique that increases or decreases the damage dealt to itself. But it's also quite powerful. Useful when you want to damage an enemy in a short motion that you don't want to blow away. Axe Tornado, class action 3 second, right mouse button. Grade 1 HP absorption. Recovery amount, 10%. Grade 3, finisher HP absorption recovery amount, 15%. 3-hit attack with super armor effect. Reducing damage taken, recovery HP absorption. Base action and tactical. It can also be used to cancelling skill. Grade 3 not only blows away the enemy a little, but also causes a slightly longer recovery. Stiffness can be cancelled by dodging, so deal with it flexibly. Evasion attack. Press Ctrl, evade, press the normal attack button plus class action button. Assault attack. Enemy double jump, press the normal attack button plus class action button while in the air. Tactical skills. Storm Rush cooldown 10 second to 8 second. G3, combo gauge increase amount 5% x number of hits. G3 Beta, combo gauge increase amount 1% x number of hits. The range expansion Alpha large enough to reach distances of 1.5 to 2 characters. Greatly improving usability. It provides valuable range damage. Beta doubles the number of hits, but halves the damage dealt, and furthermore, the combo gauge increase is drastically reduced to 0.25%. When facing multiple opponents, it feels a little difficult to fill up the gauge. But when facing a single boss, the difference becomes noticeable. Effective in situations where you want to prioritize chains, attribute accumulation, and burst over damage. It can be activated in the air and attacks while standing still on the spot, so it can also be used against flying enemies. Shockwaves emitted by bosses and the like on the ground can also be avoided in the air. The final blow has a down effect, causing humanoids to flip over and not be able to move, and enemies flying in the air to be knocked down. An easy combo that can be used from the beginning. Beast Swing. Axe Tornado. Storm Rush. Which can also be connected from Axe Tornado's aerial finish. Fall Impact cooldown 6 second. It has long range and decent power, but has quick motion, and can be used as a close range attack. When used in the air, double jump from the point where it is used and jump further forward. It is a way to forcibly jump forward even if your stamina is 0, so it is sometimes used in time attacks. Damage increase with Alpha is 10%. Although it has a slight disadvantage. It may not work well against oversized enemies such as machine gods died in Vermilion. Beta is extremely useful as it increases flight distance by about 1.5 times. Further improving movement and maneuverability. Even though the probability has been eased. This also has the disadvantage that if you hit closely, your damage will drop slightly due to the higher jump. Drain Spiral, cooldown 15 second. Grade 1 maximum 2 hits. The first hit does not consume stamina, and only the second hit consumes 20 stamina. Grade 3 where you can attack as long as you have stamina. And if you have a super armor such as Warcry, you can earn enough damage and recover enough. Stamina consumption after the second hit is 12. The damage per hit is not that high. But if you used all from a state of 100 stamina, the total power will be 810% in 9 attacks. Of course, you can increase the number of times by increasing the stamina of shared class skill, plug, and imagine stamina. It can be said to be a versatile skill that can do anything from one-on-one fights to handling large groups. You can cancel at any time you like. Alpha, increases HP recovery amount. Beta, range increases by about 50%. Also, as the number of enemies involved increases, the amount of recovery will increase as a result. Warcry cooldown 25 second 22 second. Super armor prevents attacks from being cancelled even if you take damage. so you can reliably land Burning Rush and Brutal Blow. Please note that even if you can reduce damage, you will still be affected by status abnormalities due to attributes and debuffs. If you are relieved because you have super armor or damage reduction, you will be cornered before you know it. Also, Twin Striker is not a tank and cannot negate or remove attribute accumulation by itself, since you will suffer from the disadvantages of accumulating attributes. Decreased movement speed, decreased accuracy, continuous damage. Cross Blood, cooldown 18 second. Excellent large damage and drain performance from the early stages. Brutal Blow, cooldown 10 second. A reliable special move that can be used by both non-elemental and fire elemental types. Alpha skill, a single attack reaches over 5000 damage. It has a short interval and is excellent as a continuous damage. And it is also a skill that can produce the highest single shot damage among Twin Striker's tactical skills. While charging, the level will be displayed in yellow numbers. And at grade 3 it will accumulate up to level 2 in an instant. Aim for a charge attack when you knock him down with Storm Rush or use Warcry as a starting point. You can adjust the firing direction by operating the camera while charging. Alpha increases the damage dealt by 30%. The damage increase is applied even if it is not charged. But the charge is obviously long, and if there is no super armor during that time, there is an increased risk that the target will fall back or move. Beta has super armor while charging, making it easier to use. And you can use it aggressively even when Warcry is just running out. Burning Rush, cooldown 15 second. Grade 1, Fire Attribute Attack Damage Increase Small Multiplier, 1.05x3, can be stacked, dealing damage in a small area while increasing the damage dealt by fire attacks. If the weapon is fire-based, the effect of fire-based attack damage increased, small, will be applied to all attack skills. The more you hit, the more damage you receive. Increased by 15% on grade 3 full hit. The range is short, so if the enemy moves, it will not hit at all. Let's get close and shoot. It does not have a down effect, but like Storm Rush, so it can be used for small anti-air attacks. Soul Ripper, HP Absorption. A rare medium range attack. It is useful when the boss uses a dangerous technique and you cannot get close to it, or when hunting in the field where range is important. When viewed as an attack skill, the damage dealt is disappointing, but when viewed as a recovery skill, it is easy to hit and the interval is short, so it is highly reliable as a recovery skill when your HP is significantly reduced. And the amount of recovery is greater than Cross Blood, which deals more than double the damage. Alpha interval is shortened, allowing it to use continuously in just 6 seconds. Beta will reduce the amount of recovery per enemy, but it will penetrate, turning it into a linear area attack. Crimson Blow, cooldown 10 second. A fire attribute attack skill that deals fire attribute damage in a medium range centered on your character. It has a knockback effect, so you can keep it away from you, the knockback direction in which the attack was fired. On the other hand, when fighting in a party, be careful as the heavy smasher can break up the enemies gathered in one place. In that case, try hitting the gathered enemies from the outside to the inside. Or use it on large bosses where knockback doesn't work. Alpha increases to a maximum of 8 hits. Especially if you hit a large boss closely, it will lead to extremely large damage. Beta is a long-range attack. Its range is longer than Soul Ripper, making it valuable long-range skill. Blood Axe self-buff cooldown 35 second to 30 second. A strengthening technique that drains any attack. Due to the lower limit, low power, multi-hit attacks tend to increase the amount of recovery. And Storm Rush and Burning Rush are easy and excellent recovery methods. The recovery will overlap, so even if you take damage, you can fully recover in an instant. Although the technique itself does not cause any damage, its recovery power is strong. Grade 3, the time the effect wears off will be shortened, allowing you to ignore small damage and attack. Lava impact cooldown 14 second. A fire attribute attack technique that combines high range and damage output. If it can reach, it will also hit the enemy in the air and set up a damage area on the ground. Both the slam and damage area have a wide attack range. It also has an excellent total amount of damage, and if you make a full hit until the damage area disappears, it will have the highest total amount of damage among the skill groups. Since it is a fire attribute attack, Burning Rush's fire attribute buff is also applied. Among Twin Striker's skills, it can be said to have the widest level range. However, the attack motion is long and will be interrupted by damage taken, so Warcry is recommended. Also, it is difficult to hit a moving enemy with the second or third shot, and they can easily escape from the damage area. It's effective against stationary enemies, so if you're in a party, it's easy to hit enemies that other players have stopped. Ignition Self Buff, cooldown 25 second. A self-strengthening skill that consumes the combo gauge to increase the damage dealt for attack tactical skills activated during the effect. Please note that the damage of normal attacks, class actions, and ultimate skills does not increase. Alpha. An additional effect that greatly increases the amount of combo gauge increase during the duration of the effect. Beta. For each tactical skill that is activated during the effect time, the entire combo gauge is consumed when activated. And the damage dealt is greatly increased according to the amount of combo gauge consumed. It will be multiplied by a maximum of plus 200%, 3x, but since the combo gauge will be 0%, it will be about 2.5x compared to the max gauge. It is particularly compatible with Drain Spiral, which deals a large amount of total damage. Desperado. A technique that unleashes the greatest instantaneous damage among the current skills in exchange for taking self-inflicted damage. It jumps a short distance while spinning with no attack detection, and releases a shockwave as soon as it lands. It can hit multiple targets and has super armor. If you cancel by evading while charging, self-inflicted damage will not occur. But if you miss the attack when the shockwave is generated, you will receive damage. By using it in conjunction with Blood Axe, it becomes much easier to use. Self-injury damage depends on maximum HP, and is consumed by 20% at charge level 1, 25% at level 2, and 30% when released at level 3. He will not fall down due to self-inflicted damage, and even if he does not have enough HP, he will remain standing with 1 HP remaining. However, the situation is still dangerous. So I want to be careful about my remaining HP. It seems like the self-injury damage will increase as the damage from ignition increases. And if you add the 200% buff from ignition beta, the HP consumption will triple. If the charge is level 3, the HP consumption will be 90%. And if you include alpha follow-up attack, it will be an additional 60%. Resulting in a laughable self-inflicted damage of 150%. Alpha generates an additional attack that is almost the same as the first attack. HP consumption is 20%. But if the Blood Axe is broken or you use it carelessly, there's a risk that you'll fall. Since it fires 2 shots with a high damage multiplier, the attribute accumulation value is also very high. And this alone can easily accumulate over 100. Depending on the situation. Repeated firing may cause an unwanted attribute burst. Vortex Impact, ultimate skill. Enemies with no resistance will be knocked down and even most bosses will fall to their knees for a short time. The final blow is extremely damaging, and is spread out as an area attack. So it's more effective if you hit it in an area where enemies are gathered. There's no point in dealing huge damage if it doesn't hit, so try to activate it at a time when you're sure to hit the boss. Please note that if the boss is being blown away by an attribute burst finish, you will miss the target completely. By the way, since it is a non-attribute attack, the weapon's attribute is used. Class abilities. Exaltation, Class shared ability. Accumulation. Drain fever. Tempo up. Full power. Fight out, class shared ability. Base abilities. HP up. Increase attack power. Increase defense power. Increased recovery power. Increased critical rate. Twin Strikers class abilities are all excellent. When forming a party or going to a dungeon, prioritize Drain Fever, which heals everyone. If you want to increase your attack power, set Full Power or Exaltation to suit your fighting style. The combination of accumulation and tempo up provides synergy in time attack. Now you already reach endgame, they said. Whenever you reach max level, it's endgame. Let's uninstall the game, be done with it then. Alpha and Beta skill. In comment section people who has this class only. Start healthy discussion, share opinion, make better guide about this class.